let's take some Remnant rubs. We'll take the black Remnant rubs from Apothecary. We'll take a tag. We'll put a little here. Maybe we'll take some of that. Maybe I'll take some words. I'll take some of that. What's that?
Not perfect.
It's like freaking you freak right there.
Yeah.
You're like, hold on, what is he doing?
But it looks so cool.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can do
Never
that.
thought we should rub-ons that way.
Yeah. Well, most rub-ons you can, but that's why I called them Remnant rubs. It's all, you can go in and cut that out. Everything is individual. But I packed them together and I laid them out in such that you can place those down, rub on an area, and then just rip it off. And then you're going to get remnants, because this is going to be really a great background for inkable surfaces. Like these rubs, these will adhere to fabric, metal, glass, plastic, anything like that. So here I can go in and I'm just going to do a background. Now my background, I'm just going to start by just kind of wetting the tag a little bit, because I'm going to go in with Distress Stain. Now Distress Stain is going to be a fluid version of Distress, so that's going to give me that instant background coloring. Not going to worry about contaminating my colors in any way. Yeah, really think about where you're applying your color. Pay close attention to how you apply it. I told you, thinking is overrated. Alright, and we're just going to spray that with a little bit of water. Get those colors to start to blend a little bit, because it's going to react. And we'll dry it. The rubs are also heat stable, so they're not going to melt on your tag. Now what's cool about rubs is that they actually have, halos around them. So you're going to create that nice resist effect. And if you didn't want that resist to be white, you could have started with a background color on your tag to begin with. With this, I'm just going to blot off some of the excess. And then when people ask you how your color, you're like, oh, it's hours of layering. I can tell you my formulation for layering color, but it's just, you gotta start and work light to dark. And again, I'm going to go in with more water. I just want to create a droplet pattern. And we can spray water through a stencil as well, but we're going to do that splatter on there. But I like to work with a towel all the time. I like to add, I like to lift. Alright. The paper doesn't have a memory, so if it curls, just uncurl it. And we'll go in and see what we have. We'll do walnut. Of course. I could take them all out. I could say I need a few, I'll end up with all of them out. It doesn't really matter. Again, use a blending tool, and then we're just going to take this. And with your layering stencil, you get to determine how dark you want it to go. And you really don't need as much ink as you think you might need, because you're going to be able to see what you have. So if you're like, oh, you know what? I want that to be a little darker right there, a little lighter there. Great. But you can easily create a cool splatter effect. But see, some people, if they try to create that pattern with ink, it could be disastrous at that point. So it'd be like, wow. So it's fun. It's a fun stencil. And let's stamp on top of this. Alright. There's the... I know I have it here. I have to have one that's black. There it is. Just going to go in. I always like to create kind of those shaded areas just a bit. My tag's a little damp, so I'm going to dry it. And remember with Distress, Distress is always going to re-wet. So even on my splatters, for me, they're just a little too perfect. So I'm just holding the neck of the bottle and just creating that little spit pattern. But you can see I'm able to go through that too, which I think just gives it a better look. Just going to dry it. I love how quiet this heat treat is. Usually when I demo that, you can turn it on. I'm on video, you can turn on the heat till it's on. Okay. Let's go in here. Let's take this out. take that, carefully apply your stamp. And then you can just start adding layers, and that's what's kind of fun about that. Alright, so for this one, this guy's a big guy, so normally I like to try to do that. I think it's a little challenging, so I'm just going to lay that onto a block. But I still want to create a background effect, so instead of tapping, just like I did on the last one, I'm just going to take my ink pad and I'm just going to rub it on there. And by rubbing the ink pad on there, I'm just getting a light coating of ink, but I still have the ability to go in and actually stamp with pressure. So you can still go in, give it some pressure, and you're still going to get a much lighter effect. It's cool. Funny little tag. And when I work with tags, when people ask a lot, like, what's up with the tags? I just work on tags because I'm lazy and I like the surface of manila. But usually they don't stay as tags. I'll end up like cutting off the top and putting it on a card, right? Or I'll take a background and punch through it, or I'll do, you know, a lot of different things on it. But that's pretty cool. It's a fun little, it's a fun background. Working with rubs, stencil in there, some stain.